Welcome to Cliff Notes, the podcast where business meets inspiration and strategy meets balance. I'm Brandon Clifford, CEO of Business Alliance Inc., entrepreneur, investor, and your guide through the world of business, franchising, and leadership. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur, aspiring franchise, or just someone looking for actionable advice to take your career to the next level, Cliff Notes is here for you. Join me as we break down the complexities of business and life into bite-sized, actionable insights. This is Cliff Notes, your shortcut to success.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Cliff Notes, where we break down essential business insights to help you succeed. My name is Brandon Clifford. I'm your host. Today's episode, it's going to be all about patience, right? We're going to talk about how to grow in the virtue of patience for business success. And I know patience isn't exactly the most exciting trait to talk about. In this world that we live in today, most people would rather hear about speed, efficiency, how to get to success faster. But here's the hard truth, guys. Real success is built on patience. Like I said, we live in this world of instant gratification. I mean, you can click on a button, Amazon will deliver something your toothpaste, your toothbrush, whatever you need overnight or even the same day in some areas, right? Social media highlights all these overnight successes and just expect immediate results in business, just like for as a consumer. But if you study anybody who's truly successful as an entrepreneur, you're going to see that their success, it definitely did not happen overnight. Great quote from Warren Buffett. He says, no matter how great the talent or efforts, some things just take time. He hilariously goes on and says, you cannot produce a baby in 1 month by getting 9 women pregnant, right? That does not make sense at all. So I love this quote because it perfectly illustrates that some things just can't be rushed. And that includes growing a successful business. So, today's episode, we're going to break down, first of all, why patience is a business superpower. Second of all, I'm going to give you 5 practical strategies to develop patience in business. And third of all, we're going to talk about how patience actually puts you ahead in the long run. So if you're someone who struggles with being impatient, don't we all? Or just you want to make sure that you're playing the long game in business, this episode's for you. All right, so let's dive in. So let's get started with why patience is a business superpower, okay? First of all, the reason why it's a superpower is it's going to lead to smarter decisions. Patience leads to smarter decisions in business. Think about the last time you rushed into a decision. Maybe it was a hiring decision. You hired the wrong person. You had a need in your business and you just needed to fill that void, so you hired the first person, right? Maybe you were looking for a tool or a solution or something for your business and you purchased the first one you needed just because you needed a tool and you purchased the wrong product, right? Maybe you have a product or an idea and it's a great idea and a great product and you were worried about other people coming up with the same thing, so you rushed that product to market, right? Oftentimes, those rushed decisions are going to lead to regret, right? Patience helps you take a step back. It helps you evaluate all your options. You're going to make choices that will set you up for long-term success. It's called discernment, right? It's not just doing nothing. It's actually taking a moment and letting it breathe so that you make sure you make the right decision for the long term, not just something to solve a problem here in the instance that you're thinking about it, right? So Jeff Bezos says all overnight success takes about 10 years. And so this is coming from a guy who started an Amazon, right? Amazon, everyone knows the story. It was an online bookstore in 1994. It took years before it became the retail giant that everyone knows today and everyone uses. I think I see the Amazon truck outside my window right now. All right. If Bezos, if he expected immediate success, he would have quit in 2 years. There's no way it would be the giant that it is today. All right. Second thing that makes patience your superpower in business, it strengthens relationships. Business is not about products and it's not just about profits, right? It's about people, especially in 2025 and even more so in franchising, right? So whether you're dealing with customers, dealing with employees, investors, business partners, relationships take time to build. I've seen so many people in business burn bridges because they want instant results from their relationships. They're not building strong partnerships, right? The strongest partnerships, they're built over years and years of trust and consistency. If you're willing to be patient and you invest in relationships, you're going to have a massive advantage over others in business. All right, number three, the third reason why patience can be your superpower in business, it helps you outlast the competition. I say this all the time, right? But businesses don't fail. They don't fail. People give up too soon, right? And what that means is that it's not because it's a bad idea, it's a bad location, but typically the business owner gives up and that's why the business closes, right? A lot of people think success is a sprint. It's actually a marathon. Look at Elon Musk. Look at his companies. Tesla, SpaceX, formerly Twitter. They went through years and years of setbacks before they saw real success. If he'd been impatient, no way he would get to where he is today. Simon Sinek, great book, The Infinite Game. I recommend you all read it. Write that down right now. The Infinite Game came out in 2019. He says, there's no winning in business. There's only progress. So think about it. Think about it for yourself. Ask yourself this question. Are you playing for short-term wins? Are you playing the infinite game? Trying to build something that's truly great. Okay, so pivot real quick here. We're going to get into 5 ways to grow in patience. I want you to come away from this with some actionable, items that you can do to grow in patience to turn it into your superpower for business, right? So how do you actually become more patient? Because let's be honest, patience isn't exactly something that comes naturally to any of us, right? So here's 5 ways that you can cultivate patience for your business and for yourself in your business to grow in virtue, right? So first of all, number one, practice strategic winning, right? So whenever you're about to make a big decision, try this. Force yourself to wait, okay? Before making that hiring decision, wait 48 hours. Before making a major investment, wait a few extra weeks, right? Put a little bit of a time box on it for you. Before reacting to something, take a step back and give yourself time to process it. It's funny, I actually have just recently I had one of my employees came to me with a frustrating situation from an email. And they asked me, what should I do with Brandon? What should I do? What should I do? How should I respond to this? And I said, the response is actually no response, not till tomorrow. Take a moment to think about it, right? Another time, same person actually asked me about an email situation again. I said, you know what the solution is? Don't check your email before 7 a.m. Give yourself a little time in the morning, be patient, drink some coffee, drink some water, go for a walk, then check your email, right? Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors of all time, right? He waits months or even years before he makes an investment. It's called discernment, like I said at the beginning of this conversation. That's part of why Warren Buffett's one of the greatest investors of all time. He never, almost never, ever, ever acts on impulse, right? You hear this a lot. You should go with your gut. Yes, to a certain extent, as long as you've discerned if your gut is the right decision, right? All right, number 2 action item you can do to become more patient. I want you to start focusing on a long-term vision over short-term results, right? You hear this a lot. Is this a long-term decision or short-term results? One of the biggest reasons we get impatient is because we're focused on instant gratification, like I said at the beginning of this podcast. Businesses, though, they're not built in a day. Think about Apple, Nike, Starbucks. These brands, they took decades to become what they are today. If you only focus on immediate results, you're going to get frustrated. Trust me, guys. If you keep your eyes on a long-term vision, you'll be willing to put in more work and just trust the process. All right. So number 3 action item you can do to grow in the virtue of patience is to reframe your setbacks as growth opportunities. Patience it's not just about waiting or sitting around doing nothing, like I said at the beginning of this podcast, right? It's about handling frustration and failure well. Tony Robbins says, quote, success is buried on the other side of frustration. What a great way to look at it. So you can look at challenges and stepping stones like as stepping stones. They're the climb, it's the journeys. They're not roadblocks. They're part of the road. Right? You'll develop a much stronger, more patient mindset if you can look at it this way, right? It's the fire that's gonna forge you, right? Some things you put it into a fire, right? And it's gonna get burnt up and it's gonna go away. You want to become the iron that can go into fire and can be forged and come out like steel. All right, number four. Fourth thing you can do to grow in the virtue of patience is to train yourself to slow down. Here's a simple trick to do that. Just start doing small things slowly. Eat slowly. Take a bite. Finish that bite. Chew it up. Swallow it before you take another one. Walk slowly. This is something I struggle with quite a bit. Walk a little bit slower. Teach yourself. Teach your body to walk slower. Speak more slowly. Again, something that I struggle with quite a bit, but teach yourself that you can move at a slower pace when it's necessary. And now why? Because if you can learn patience in small areas of life, you'll be better at applying it when it comes to business decisions, right? So just another way, train yourself to slow down. Okay. So fifth and final thing, become more mindful in your daily activities. So typically impatience is going to come from feeling stress, feeling out of control. So the best way to counter stress and feeling out of control is to control yourself, right? Practice some mindfulness, right? So for me, staying focused on prayer, starting the day in prayer, the morning especially, doing some spiritual reading and offering this day to God, right? Take 5 minutes at least to sit in silence each morning. Even simply before you turn on the computer, take a deep breath, take your time. Other simple things, showing little small acts of gratitude, right? Whether it's writing gratitude in a journal, 3 things that happened today that you're grateful for, or 3 things that you're grateful for in your life, right? Simply pausing and calling to mind things that you're grateful for, that act of gratitude, being mindful in the moment like that, will totally help you slow down and become more present. And you'll be naturally become more patient when you're more present, right? So instead of being stuck in the whirlwind and in that fire, like I mentioned before, around you and getting burnt up by that fire or swept away by the whirlwind, that same fire is still around you, but it will forge you. All right. So let's wrap this up here real quick. Let's talk about what's in it for you, right? What's the payoff? So first of all, to recap, it's a business superpower. Being patient doesn't mean doing nothing. It means sticking with the right things long enough to see results. So I think Steve Jobs puts it best. He says, if you really look closely, most overnight successes took a long time. So as you build your business, remember, first of all, number one, trust the process. Takes time. Number two, stay focused on the long game. And number three, don't quit just because success is taking longer than you expected. Because in the end, the people who succeed aren't the ones who go the fastest. They're the ones who never stop moving forward. All right, guys, thank you so much for your time today. If this episode resonated with you, make sure you share this with someone who maybe could use a little bit of encouragement or someone who needs to practice a little bit more patience, right? And as always, keep growing, keep learning. I hope to see you on a future episode of Cliff Notes. That's the note for today.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Business Alliance Insights. I hope you're walking away with some valuable insights to help grow and strengthen your business. If you're looking to connect with other business leaders, franchisors, franchisees, brokers, or even just looking to explore more tools to scale your business, be sure to get connected to our BAI network and check out FranLink, our exclusive social media platform built solely for our members. You can learn more about it and everything Business Alliance Inc. has to offer by visiting businessallianceinc.com. Again, that's businessallianceinc.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast with other business leaders who are ready to take their businesses, their brands to the next level.